Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's talk of the 10th day, VIJAYDASHMI, the day of success. It's the 10th Chaitra in Navratri. Although we normally talk about 9 alone, Navratri, but I think without understanding VIJAYDASHMI, the 10th day, we can't complete mathematical design of nature as such. This is a 10th stage of spiritual science which can bring you to very close to what universal consciousness is all about. Now, as I've been saying, the last 9 plus today 10th are primarily for 10 chakras to understand the concept very clearly. But the one thing which is absolutely essential for me to reach this level of impeccable wisdom for the first time in history of the world, to talk of Divyang, the divine design of nature, which are recognized, conceived and revealed in 2015 only. There is no record of that before that. As a matter, the next video is going to be on Divyang, that reaching the ultimate level of Divyang and how I have reached that truthfully, honestly, otherwise. Maybe that is going to be a part of my autobiography, which shows only truthful people, non-violent people, perfect people who are in tune with the universal consciousness, called Brahmand, or Nirankar Nirgun Brahman, Sakar Sargun Brahman, and the one who reaches that level of education, enlightenment, empowerment can do wonders, but that person has to be 100% truthful from the very beginning of the life. There is something you cannot pick up at a later date. And I am trying to show that truth has been made a part of my life from the day one of my conception. How did I reach? Next video is going to tell you autobiography from before birth, after birth, and thereafter to reach level of Divyang, how systematically I had to fight with untruth of every nature, all the compulsion from every side once for all. Just wait for the next, which is going to be very honest, conscientious autobiography of my life. As I said, the first is truth, truth and truth. Satyamev Jayate. This is something which has to be important for reach the universal conscious one. From that angle, the most important concept which I understand is Aham Brahmasmi. We human beings are the microcosmic representation of macro. We were designed as Lokpalan for the guardians with the perfection of the highest order. Unless until we reach that level, we cannot really manifest universality for the world as such. So this statement that we are made in the image of God has been made by many of the philosophers, thinkers of the world, and pictured down represents 10.34419 spirals, which are 10 moons plus other things in the spiral galaxy, which is the most perfect, consistent design which I look up to since my childhood. And that has been my guidance from the very beginning, unconsciously, subconsciously, and now superconsciously. The perfection in the universe has told me the perfection within me, and experienced perfection within me. I've been able to see that, and that has then led me to recognize, conceive, and reveal Divyang over a stage of more than 60 years of searching truthfully, conscientiously. Now, to be very intuitive, intelligent mind, truth is the most important, and for that, human brain is the most evolved, and it has got 3 outer layers of the neocortex which are not found in any other brain. But I am very sorry to say the function of 3 outer the neocortex is not known to anyone other than the author or the speaker you are listening to. And 3 outers are like the antenna to the ionosphere of the Akash Kosh, which has records of the past, present and future events perfectly from the beginning till date. And Schumann resonance field of 7.38 Hertz is the one which has all the knowledge which is stored there for the human beings, And the day we reach that level of 7.83 Hertz frequency throughout the 64 parts of the brain, without closing any of the senses, with eyes open, ears open, all the senses open in the part of the world, if you can produce 8 Hertz throughout 64 brains parts, the way in this particular picture, this is my picture which I have been able to do, you produce alpha spindles, which is the most thing represent samadhi itself, close of the mind, perfection in tune with universe consciousness should be like alpha spindle. It should not be lesser than that, not more than that. And this is my conviction, and that's it. This is a part of my PhD research work, and then how I have improved over a period to this reach level, I think is something which I will be sharing more in the next video, which is perfect to the core as experience, what has made me come to live a person in tune with universal consciousness single-handedly and doing everything automatically by myself alone. Why? You're going to get the answer in the next video. Now, a genuine statement I have been making. Akhand Vidyashram is my concept. It talks of the impeccable wisdom for the first time and is based on my personal experiences and particularly in divine mathematical conviction. It's not a copy of anything else. I have not found this knowledge in any of the books as such in Divyank and Akhand Vidyashram's impeccable wisdom. Let me also start that whole journey was started not with anything other than Shunya in Rigved, which is Atma, dot and zero. From zero to Divyank in 2015 I have reached, you are going to see much more as my experience with the world and how I reached that in the next video, much more comprehensive. These 10s are the one which lead you to the 11th level of 10.34419. And now the source is Goddess Durga and Mahishasura is the one. This is the 10th level where she wins over evil and victory is VIJAYDASHMI, 10th day. Now, story of Mahishasura I have already told, is a repetition again. He could not be killed by any male at all. All the devas and others which are male concept cannot kill him. Only a female can be in a position to kill him as such. He never expected a female to be powerful enough, better than man, to kill a demon of that level. Anyway, we will not get into it. But as a result, Mahishasura started terrorizing everyone, including gods. They got terrified. They went and got together and decided to produce goddess Gayatri with their energy. This is known in the history of philosophy in India as Durga story. She was designed and created with 18 arms, and instruments are like Adi Prashakti, is something which I realized while making this. I was under impression of 8 arms, but actually the 18 arms. She represents Divine Mother of Creation as such. This picture is very clear about Mahishasura being killed and lion being the king of the forest, and she is Durga with 18 arms, which can also be called Chamundeshwari. Now this is the temple in near Mysore of Chamundeshwari. You can see 7 levels and 10 on either side. This is a beautiful picture of Divyank as such. And this 18 arms of Chamundeshwari in the same place is very reflection of that wisdom, and I think it's a hats off to symbolic language of Yantra Shastra. We are going to see more as I have seen my yantras being made with the help of Aditi within me since my childhood itself. I will not say unconsciously, subconsciously I have made it, and super consciously after 91, after my initiation simplified Kundalini Yoga, and experiencing Kundalini within the body has made things even more within the body than it was outside other experience. We are going to see that in the next one. Now, periodic table is the most things in chemical industry or chemistry is done. But here you can see 7 periods and 18 groups This is also something you see in Chamundeshwari as a goddess Durga. Now come to the question. Adi Prashakti has shown she is the mother of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. All the things created in the universe come from Adi Prashakti. And you can see the 9 lotus petals on top and 9 down are the 18, again the same story. Now the voice of silence of soul which I am talking about is the dialogue between Durga and God, Lord Vishnu, after the victory of right over evil on VIJAYDASHMI in the heavens. And Durga wanted to get married to Vishnu, and Vishnu said, no one can get married to you. You are full of energy form. You have to take birth in human body and then rise to this level. This also made me realize all the gods and goddesses have to take birth in human form for their evolution also. Even from hydrogen to reach the highest level, you got to go through reincarnation again and again. Hence, she had to take birth as the Vaishnavi in Kanyakumari, which is a lower part of Akhand Bharat, and move to Trikuta mountain, where she is at present meditating to reach higher level. And she is shown with 8 arms, and she is represent oxygen or Bhuta, Agni Bhuta, and she is trying to reach Gayatri of 10, and also maybe regaining the level of goddess Durga of 18 arms in the process. We are going to see that much more in detail, which we reach that level of unfolding the wisdom, how it has come to Divyank level. Now, this is a picture of Kanyakumari right at the bottom, surrounded by 3 oceans, then India as a country which is full, and Trikuta right on top of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, which is the highest part of Akhand Bharat, and I come from there, so I can understand the beauty of that. And I have taken birth in that because 3 mountains of Mata Vaishno Devi, a Trikuta mountain, are Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, 3 put together. And inside the cave you have Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali. This kind of thing is not found anywhere else. But these are all the reflection of Divyank, which I am going to talk much more in detail, how I unfolded, why I took birth there, and what has happened thereafter, step by step, truthfully and honestly. And Trikuta represents Lord Dattatreya, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiv as such. But here in this form you have 3 heads and 6 arms. This represents carbon, the element for biological life as such. So no wonder Shiva is Lord of dissolution and regeneration, which centers on carbon, and yet you can see in this particular picture very clearly. Now come to the question of Durga as 8 arms, and this is the beauty of Rig Veda, which is a reflection of atom, elements and molecules and other things of the cell. Is most beautiful scientific form. Representation is Aitreya Upanishad by Rishi Aitreya, of talking of the Lok Palan, the creation, the perfect human being as such. But in that Lok Palan there are only 8 divinities, not 7 and 9. That is also something which amazed me, how beautiful are documents, how knowledge they have given thousands and thousands a year, and now I am able to experience that, knowing all the things with the perfection as such. Now goddess Durga Aditi is, according to Rig Veda, the mother and daughter of Daksha the king, but in Upanishad she is the mother and daughter of Aditya the sun god. But she has got a beautiful 2 arms, 2 protons, 2 neutrons and 2 electrons, helium-4, which is human cell. Antaratma, Kundalini, Aditi are identical. They are indwelling soul within me. That is the voice of silence which I can communicate within. That has made me perfect human being. There is a story that Kashyap has 2 wives, Aditi and Diti. Aditi's children are the gods, Diti's children are asuras. And I do believe Aditi and Diti are both within the body. If and all the atom elements otherwise, if you are left without Aditi as without indwelling soul, you could make all the mistakes the way Asuras make it. But if you are in tune with Aditi, she will never let you make even single mistake. You are going to see much more in the next video how she has guided me from the very beginning of my birth, during birth and thereafter to reach this level, because I'm only listening to Aditi. I'm not listening to anybody else. All the information had to be rechecked and approval had to be given by Aditi within myself, sometimes unconsciously, subconsciously, then superconsciously as I moved on. We are going to see much more in detail as my autobiography as Divyank in the next video. Now there are 7 pillars which I make it very clear. Satya is my foundation which I have never left. Dharma is my foundation which I have never left. Ahimsa is my foundation which I have never left. Devotion towards God is unflinching, undevoting, that has been part. Then dharma, earth, kam, moksha is my format of working. As a result, I have learnt how to understand philosophy, Gyan as such, then Vigyan, then absolute Vigyan, and how I have come to Ganit Vidya of Divyank as the 7 steps from Satya to this level has literally taken me more than 60 years of searching truthfully within my body and then looking at the wisdom, experience it and represent step by step. We are going to see much more comprehensive document to make me feel truth you will have to face, but if you face honestly, only then you can rise. If you don't face, you fall a victim of untruth, adharma, and otherwise you become like asuras only. If you want to be like God, you have to be both only on satya and dharma, ahimsa and bhakti and all these things which I am talking about. And that has been deep rooted in me. I have never compromised, and I think it's time for the world to see how a person who is in tune with inner self wants to be perfect and not compromise, how he or she is tested by everyone and how he rises, leaving everybody side by side and does not fall into victims of the spoilt world as such. Next video. Now come to the question of, I'm going through this as a foundation for you to understand. Shalputri is the, I'm looking from a female point of view. Shalmitra is beautiful, perfect daughter, which is the moment of Mata Vaishno Devi as the first step. That's the first level. Here, as I've made it very clear, only the person whose senses are perfect, all the 5 senses are clear, all the higher 5 senses are clear, mind is completely vibrant to understand perfection, eliminate all the defects, neti neti. That powerful mind can only lead to samadhi. Only when come to the level of samadhi, actually Shalputri rises. And that is why Patanjali Yoga Sutra makes it very clear. Stop the fluctuation mind and come to the stage of yourself, and that is Antaratma. Only after that your journey starts. Ashtanga Yoga is only preparing you for journey, but does not take you beyond that. That is also something which I realized when I did my PhD work and then did that. That was controlling the mind was the first thing, and how I exhibited that. You're going to see it much more in the next video. Then she is the first sprouting of the inner consciousness, as I call. The voice of silence in mind is Aditi, and that is Shalputri. That's the beginning of understanding of solar system within and out is what Shalputri is talking about. Thanks to Mata Vaishno Devi, that my devotion for her, experiencing these 10 stages of Durga has helped me to reach a perfect thing within me, because I am being a male. I need a female to teach me, and I realize females have got 61.8034% and it's the right side of the brain, where the males, me by such the left side, which is mathematical combination of divine mathematics, logic and 64 arts. Both you got to understand. No male can understand 64 because they're only logical. But having a good relationship with the females by and large, particularly preferably if you have your consort very intelligent, very talented, you can be a perfect as Satyavan Savitri, and that can take you to much higher level of consciousness. But otherwise also you can always talk to different people, learn from them perfection, because I've learned perfection of different arts from different Shaktis of Shell Putris of different nature, my classmates, my teachers, my this and that. The whole world is filled with more dominated Shaktis by and large. No wonder I am Shakti Upasak and I continue to be that. Then come to the Muladhara Chakra. It's only 4 petals. That is also beauty in Sanskrit. That's a picture of Satchakra Nirpana on top, and lower the one which I made. We will go into detail as we go in the next one. Then nervous system, she is connected in the ganglion impart or coccygeal ganglion, where 2 vertebral columns of 22 ganglion plus 22 ganglion plus 1, 45 ganglion of the sympathetic system from 28 preganglion nerves is a beautiful representation of Divyank alone. We have seen it. You are going to see more hints thereafter. Then Shalputri is the one where she sleeps in Muladhara Chakra. When she gets up in a waking state, she is in a position to make the perfect person, perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. The concept of making a good human body, free from diseases, free from material deficiencies, wisdom or otherwise, are there in Muladhara itself. Shalputri by and large can do. As a result, what is written by Maharishi Yajnavalkya, Astoma Satgamya, in Muladhara itself, from untruth to truth you can live. You don't need anything because you sleep in Muladhara, you wake up to Muladhara to get these things. But and from Tamsoma Jyota, from ignorance or darkness or inefficiency to deficiency, a light of wisdom is also there. From death to immortality is also with Muladhara Chakra itself. And anyone who is fully perfect can happily sleep in Muladhara Chakra and wake up, get all the knowledge. You don't need more than that as far as Kundalini awakening is concerned. It automatically does that. Then she is connected with Mula. Now here I talk about it. Navaratri, 9 days, and Navagraha, 9 planets. In Navagraha, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are the 7 things with 7 planets very well known. But Rahu and Ketu is not shown. But here I say Rahu head is Bhumi, the earth element, and connected with fish, the first vertebrae as such, which is the first Vishnu avatar by and large. You can see the picture of Akhan. Then this is divine fish, and we have also come to divine fish. The starting of human consciousness starts from fish alone, which even Darwin has agreed, and I agree with Darwin that the first stage is Matsya, and that is important, and that is with Shalputri itself. So whole concept perfectly designed with Divyank right here itself. Then Brahmacharya is the second step when girl and a boy become sexually potent to move on to produce the next generation by and large. I do say Bhumi Puja, Bhumi Rin is required because all our requirements for ourselves are getting from earth. All the vegetable fruits required for human consciousness come from there. And it is our duty to plant trees and things and become pure vegetarian, take up the atmosphere so that it can produce enough oxygen. And absolutely true with pure vegetarian food is something which I think is absolutely essential for Muladhara. Now once you come to this stage, you realize that Pitra Rin, we are here because of our ancestors. We should leave behind the perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise next generation for the world to move on to the higher level. And that is where Brahmachari boy and Brahmachari girl, when they get married together, they can produce a divine children by and large. And I agree, this is for second stage of procreation as such. Now coming to that first one as a system of sympathetic balance right at the bottom, where the Ida, Pingala and Sushma put together make you perfectly healthy, while without any deficiency at all within the body. But second thing is the sacral parasympathetic system, which is lower part of the sacrum system, and that is what makes male and female a perfectly family members. And family, husband and wife together intelligently can only make an heaven on the earth, and the person who's wandering around will never be able to have a perfectly healthy, wealthy wife. And you're going to see with my life how I have related that from home alone. Home is home, and that is what will make you rise. And I'm the living example that you're going to see that. Now, the first is Muladhara. This is Swadhisthana. That was 4 petals. This is 6 petals. It's beautiful. And this is connected with planet Venus, whereas the other one is Earth. Then it is Kurma, which is second stage, which is responsible for churning of ocean, where all the requirement physical body came. That's where the Shushmana Nadi is Meru mountain. Foundation is this, and this is where something which can be unearthed and other thing can give you testosterone estrogen combination, which can make you physically healthy, wealthy, wise and happy, and also very intelligent. You're going to see that as we move on to the next stage. And this is a picture of 5 vertebrates of sacrum, and 3 pairs of nerves come, that is 6, and they are the one which control reproductive organs. If you look at Muladhara chakra, is apana prana, which helps you to throw it out. But this is one which preserves the sexual energy, ojas and tejas, to make you super human being, perfect, intelligent, in tune with universal consciousness. That kind of sexuality has to be there to make you Brahma character. Brahmacharya is the brain character, is not celibacy. That is something which celibacy is never part of nature. It's designed to be in love with your consort and perfect one to produce next generation for perfection. This is where I see my parents loving each other and produce something of me who is the perfect in every way from the childhood itself. And I think that speaks volumes. Now, because I have a perfect character to understand, so that means I'm perfectly in tune with my consort. When I'm perfect in consort, I can understand how the perfect human menstrual cycle is. And the process of my experience of my gender, opposite gender consort, I've been able to experience the perfect sense for the first time in the history of mankind. This is an example. No one in the world has ever spoken about it. And this is also in tune with Divyank alone. We will talk about it, have spoken about it, maybe later much more. But this is an example of a perfect, characterful person with a characterful consort producing thing to understand A to Z of human anatomy, physiology, biochemistry and psychology completely. And I think someone has understood it completely is the author or the speaker or Shibhushan Sharma as such. Now the third stage, I realized for the first time, the third stage is connected with Chandra, moon. And I think that was, if first is like a Bhumi, second is water, third is Agni. And I think that is third stage evolution. Once you reach to 3 stages, this is very common for everyone. Mooladhara to Swadhisthana to Chandraghanta are the third stage, which is adrenal gland, is very common for everyone. Now in this particular picture, you can see the fire, you don't see anything else. And she is connected to the Manavi chakra with 10 lotus, which is Sat chakra now also talks about it. I also show the same thing, and the sound is Lam, Vam, Ram as such. Then come to the question, moon is a mountain, and once a person who understands the moon very clearly, knows all the depression, excitement, and it is well known scientifically, during Amavasya, the tides in oceans are high, and during Purnima also tides are high. Anyone whose mind is at fault would have the depression during Amavasya and excitement during this thing, because everything is connected with water and sodium chloride, and that is also within the human body and also the ocean. And you can see, once your mind is absolutely, there is no depression during Amavasya and there is no excitement during Purnima. Once you come to that stage, that means your mind is completely at rest. It's without any confusion at all, and that's the time you reach the third level very clearly. And that is where I understand the third level of Vishnu avatar is Varaha, and the picture is exactly of what you're going to see in this particular picture as a later. But here, I'm going to tell you what Vijayadashmi today. On the day Ravana was killed by Sri Rama, and he could not kill 9 times, he fell and got up again. But only when Vibhishan told Ram to attack him in naval, but he is very strong in naval, his soul lies in naval alone. Only after piercing navel, Ravana died. And I think that is very significant. But it will look like mythology, but it is not true. Because I do not know Ved, Upanishads and many other scriptures which are pure in Sanskrit form were full of the wisdom written by Brahmins who were in tune with Brahman. There is no deficiency at all. And that is what I am revealing step by step, the symbolic representation as such. Second thing is, when it comes to the Chandraghanta, it is adrenal gland, the emergency. The blood from renal artery enters the adrenal gland, and first layer produces mineralocorticoids. That means control the water and minerals as such required for homeostasis. The second one produces glucocorticoid. The glucose concentration is maintained. And then third is androgen or testosterone, estrogen to give you the power. These three things are absolutely essential to make us perfectly healthy. But the same blood through these stages finally goes to medulla to produce catecholamines, adrenaline, noradrenaline, which is sympathomimetic. There's a last stage to save you in bleeding completely. When there is a bleeding, sympathomimetic action of adrenal closes the wound and bleeding is stopped. I think that is again something which later we will talk in detail. And fourth level is Kushmanda, and then we come to the Mandipura chakra, and it's connected with Samana Prana, the digestion as such. And digestion is required for water, ingredients, nutrients, vitamins and minerals by and large come only through Samana Prana with the Manipura chakra as a fourth level of thing. Once this is perfect, you will be perfectly healthy in digestion completely. Only a perfect digestion person will have no deficiency. Even at the age of 70, 80, 90, his body will be as good as 21 years perfect. And that is what I am talking about. I am a living example. Then Samana Prana, you can see in hand the lungs with Amrit, which is water, and all the minerals which are perfect, which is required for that, and that is fourth level. Now Manipura chakra and Navi chakra are identical with 10. We will not go into detail. Now Mercury is the planet which is closer to the sun, which is neutral in nature, like a Kanya, has no influence of male and female. It is uniform both males and female. Adrenal gland at this level is a perfection. Beautiful. Then come to the fifth stage of Skandha, the mother of 6 head Kartik. That means you have come to the higher level of Durga. As such, you are moving towards Mahavidya of more of Shiva nature. Now she is, you can see the 6-headed thing in her, and that is one thing that also speaks little more. We will not go into detail, I have already spoken about it. But chakra is Anahata chakra with 12 petals, 4, 6, 10 and now 12. I think that speaks volume, and the one knower is the one which I have made it on my own. And it is connected with sun like Earth, Venus, Mercury to the sun. You are moving this inner planet by and large. I think that is also a beautiful thing to understand how solar system and our design is also identical. Then Katyani is the mother of Skand. This is the 6th level of spiritual consciousness. And here you have the 6-headed Kartik's divine mother. I am not showing here, but I am just putting it together. She has reached a higher level of consciousness. But on the whole, it's connected with Vishuddhi chakra with 16 petals. Here Sanskrit has 16 vowels. A, E, E, O, Ng, Ha. All the 16 aksharas are vowels you can feel. You can see the movement from soul right up to head as we move these 16 vowels completely. And that's a beautiful thing as far as Vishuddhi Chakra is concerned, and the phonetic sound is hum. Whereas in Anhata it's yam. Then goes to the higher level, they are connected it with the planet which is next one within the inner thing. Started with Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. Is like that. But here now you are rising Udana Prana, Apana Prana, Samana Prana, Prana Prana to Udana Prana. How energy starts rising thereafter is again aspect which is very clearly depicted here. And also your Mangal is one you can see right at the bottom. Now this is also a picture made me realize that Vishuddhi Chakras, Neelkant of Shiva is connected with iodine, heat and thermal. I have already explained. That's also something I realized in Vishuddhi. How beautiful is Hara, the poison which Lord Shiva took to produce thyroid hormone and heat to be in Kailash Parvat. I think that's again a beautiful thing is there in our scriptures. Kalratri is the next one where I talk about it, asteroid belt. And now in Navagraha you have Ketu's body and asteroid belt is 7th. That is 7th level spiritual evolution from darkness to light. Now you can see the picture of Kalratri which is time and space, but you can see the fluctuating donkey and also the fluctuating nature. Once you come to that stage, you understand that is the beauty of asteroid belt. Everything is broken, you are total into that. It's not integrated as a space between solid planets inside and subtle planets outside. And it is connected with Ajna Chakra with 2 petals and the sound is hum and sham. I think that speaks volumes, where the completion of Sanskrit language is coming closer to 50 letters by now. Now come to the asteroid belt, Ketu you can see, and same picture you are seeing down with the snake you can see this. I think this is where science and spirituality are merging together. And next is Mahagauri, the pure divine consciousness, comes at 8th level of spiritual evolution. Once you come, you can see her pure consciousness emerging. She is a divine mother with the knowledge of Vidya, Avidya, Gyan, Vigyan, Pragyan. Everything comes to that level of the scientific approach. And now Vigyan means science comes up. There are 52 letters of Sanskrit are complete. You can see the prefix 3 and suffix Gyan, both Tri Devi, Tri Lok, 3 concept on one side and Gyan, these 2 aksharas with Om make things very, very powerful, and that is something which I learned when I made this Vigyan Chakra way back in 1997. It taught me divine mathematics, how it is. We are going to see much more in the next one as I reach that level. My own consciousness, how at different stages, unconscious, subconsciously to superconsciously I come to. Now is connected with Jupiter, which is supposed to be the guru, the knowledgeable, and that is science. And I think that is again speaks volumes of Guruvar as such. Then Siddhiratri is the 9th level of spiritual consciousness. She has the power to give you all the blessings of the universe. Only when you reach the 9th level of Durga Puja or Chaitra Navratri, you reach that level of consciousness. You have all the powers to do what you want to do at that particular. And I can tell you, I had the power of saying, and whatever comes from my mouth, come what may, which is revealed to me in a dream form, unconscious, subconsciously, becomes like a power, and it will happen if somebody managed for me to tell them, Tathastu, let your wish happen. That will happen come what may be. And that is Siddhiratri, which goddess Durga gives it at 9th level itself. And that is phenomenal. I have experienced. I am going to talk about it in the next one. Now, goddess blessing is this particular picture. You can see how beautifully are those things. She is just calm and quietly giving you the wisdom which is required. And there comes to the Pragyan Chakra with the 96 lotus petals, and I think that speaks volume, and also talks with third eye of divine creation, 22 by 21, and the picture on top is of centrosomes, two centrosomes becoming into two centrioles. Centrosome has got two centrioles, they become two at the time of creation. 21 parts becoming 22 parts is very clearly put there, and that is what the picture of centriole up and down. And I think that's the ninth level, and it's also got 96 things, and we are going to see much more in detail as we move on to these things, much more detail later. But comprehension will be given in the next one, how I come to that state. Now this is Saturn is the most powerful planet, and Shani. The why this 9 are over, and of course 2 are Navagrahas also. Rahu and Ketu as a Bhumi and asteroid belt. I think 9 levels we have completed. Once you reach the level of Saturn, which takes 30 years to go around the sun, it gives you the power which is unheard of. It is able to give you wisdom which you want, provided you are truthful, honest otherwise. And that is what Sanatana Dharma talks about it. Honest, truthful people are the one are protected by nature by truth alone, and nothing other than that. And those are the statements you're going to see much more. You have already seen much more as we move on. So ninth level is over. Now come to the 10th level of Vijayadashmi, the goddess of victory, how she killed Mahishasura and Raktabij, Chanda, Munda and others, and Rama killed Ravana. Is the 10th stage of spiritual evolution, which is very, very clear once you experience that one by one. From that level, this is a picture of goddess Durga with 10 arms. This is very clear. This picture is different from the picture which is there of 18 arms, and also different from 8 arms. But this is Durga's 10th level when she killed Mahishasura. I think that speaks volume, because the pictures of this nature is what I am saying. They are precise, concise. Now come to this particular stage, is talking about Sahasarara Chakra, which has 1000 petals, and I would say that is 21 stage of solar system are completed up to this stage, and once you the outermost layer of this solar system, you reach that level, and that is almost 10 times of the Saturn itself. 0 are 4, 6, 10, 12, 16, 2, 2, 52 to 96 you reach in Saturn. From Saturn to Sahasrara, it goes by 10 times more. 96 to 10 times 960 is 1000. I think that speaks that one level is up to this. In the next one level, you have another 10 levels coming up. And once you reach that level, you are well within 21 levels of solar system itself. You are going to see much more as in the next one, when it will be unfolded through experience within the body, and how unfolding happened naturally from Akash Kosh. And then comes to the question of the Pluto. Are all the three subtle ones are the one which are the last in the Vijayadashmi. I put it, they are circles, subtle levels of consciousness, and that completely as such as move on. And also the picture down is of Sahasrara Chakra, which is 10 levels outside and 10 levels inside, and that is what Vijayadashmi is all about. And then moving to this picture is the same thing. I will not talk about it. We will talk about it as we move on to the next time. I think that's enough for the day. Now prepare yourself for the next video to see my autobiography step by step, how a truthful, honest, dharma, vegetarian, no drinks, no smokes at all, just flows with the perfect senses, mind and consciousness, the universal consciousness, how divinity reveals itself to a person who is a pure vegetarian, does not drink, does not smoke, does not do anything which is unnatural, and that is the only person who over a period will be able to see divinity, because those are the qualities which are dear to me and how they are gone, and how I've seen that directly, indirectly from childhood till today. We're going to see much more in detail, as precise, as concise as possible. At least hints will be given of the important events of my life in the next one. I think wait and see. Thank you very much.